Hi there, my name's Kevin Chambers, and I'm the creator of RideSheet. And in this video, I want to talk about how RideSheet handles addresses. And addresses are very important to RideSheet. Obviously, we're trying to track where people are getting picked up, where they're getting dropped off. So let's get into it. So, one thing to know is RideSheet is tracking things in a spreadsheet. So we need to keep things simple. And for that reason, addresses are tracked completely within one cell. So everything you need about an address needs to be and stay in one cell only. And we stick to that as much as we can in RideSheet. So here we've got a sample version of RideSheet here, and we've got a address column here, which we're going to use. I'm just going to move all this test data out of sight here so we just have a clean canvas on which to show a few addresses. In this column here, I'm just going to start off with showing what happens if I type in a bad address. So I'm just going to type that in. This is a bad address and see what happens when I hit enter. After delay, you'll see that it actually shows that it's a bad address. There's a message here in the lower right-hand corner that there were 0 results when looking for this address, and puts that message in a little note in the cell and gives the cell a red background. So this is one of the things that RideSheet does to help keep addresses good. The way it does this is every address you enter in RideSheet is passed to Google Maps. And if Google Maps can't locate the address you put in, then it will flag it in the way that you saw here. So if that's a bad address, let's put in a good address and see what happens. So I'm just going to type in an address like this one. And I'm not going to get everything right, but I'm just going to get it basically close here. 350 Fifth Avenue in New York. Let's see what happens when I hit enter. Okay, and there we go. With the address I entered, it was a physical address. It came close enough, and RideSheet was able to pass that address to Google Maps, which then came back with the full address, and that's what the cell got updated with. And you'll see that it doesn't have a red background. There's no notes. This is a good address. One thing that gives you a hint that the address has been sort of inspected and vetted by Google Maps is that at the very end here, it has USA in it. So that's normally not necessary. We know that these addresses are in the United States, but that's how the full address comes back from Google Maps, and we just keep that. So another way you can enter an address is by a name that is specific enough that Google Maps will take that name and say, oh yeah, I know where that is, and replace it with a street address. I'm going to do that here with the Empire State Building and enter that. And here I get a address that's also New York City, 20 West 34th Street, New York, New York. So those are a couple ways that you can enter addresses. Now, we know, though, that often just having the street address isn't enough information. And so sometimes you need to augment it with other things. So one of the ways you can do that in a ride sheet is just putting something in at the end of the address in parentheses. And so I'm just going to do that here. You can do this with any address, and what you enter in the parentheses is not evaluated by Google Maps. You can put anything in there whatsoever. And so this is how you get, besides having the street address, which is validated, also getting a description. Now, on top of this, sometimes a street address is not enough. You need more detail. This can be the case with facilities that have many entrances, and you want to specify the exact location that a driver needs to go to, which entry, which corner. And there is a way to do that with RideSheet, and I'm going to show you how. So let's go to Google Maps, and here we are looking at a map of New York City. I'm just going to zoom in here on the Empire State Building. And the Empire State Building has a number of entrances. It's a large building. I'm going to focus on this corner right here that's marked with the observatory and say this is the spot that we want to indicate in the address. And to focus on this, I'm going to click right here, and you can see that I get this little gray pin and then a box that appears down below here, which indicates that it's near the observatory, but also gives me this latitude and longitude that says we're specifically looking at this latitude and longitude location. So if I tap that box, then I get even more information about this. Again, the latitude, the longitude, and then there's an extra piece of information here, which is important for us. This sequence of letters and numbers is called a plus code, and this is a way to encapsulate a fairly long and difficult to communicate latitude and longitude, like the one up here, into just a few characters. And so we're going to take that and copy that, and that's something we can use in RideSheet. So I can put this in here, and then I can put in here Empire State Building Observatory entrance and hit enter, and that will work. So this will be as acceptable as a street address like the one above here. And you can see this actually got adjusted a little bit after it got passed through to Google Maps for validation. Now, the last thing I want to show is that we can combine all three of these things of street addresses, plus codes, and extra data in parentheses into a single address so that we can get all these three things into one single address field. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this address. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. I'm going to copy this information. I'm going to put in a semicolon and the address and give it a moment here. And there we go. So now we have our final, fullest possible use of a RideSheet address here. We've got the full plus code, which gives the exact location that we found earlier. We have the street address, and we have information in parentheses. And we've done it all in a single cell. It makes things simple, makes things easy to manage, but yet really robust in the sense that we can say a lot about where a pickup or drop off needs to happen. It's good for communication to drivers. There's a lot of information here that can just be read from a driver manifest. And it also gives precision for turn-by-turn directions. So if you are looking at a driver manifest on a PDF using RideSheet, that PDF can have a link embedded in it. And when you tap on that link, it will give turn-by-turn directions in Google Maps in the mobile device directly to the location that's indicated in the address. And if it's a street address, it'll give directions to that street address. If there's a plus code in it, it'll give directions to the pin drop at that spot that the plus code indicates. Now, I also want to mention that there's also a addresses tab here where you can enter addresses that you use a lot and then reference them when you're doing data entry day to day. So here we have a few sample addresses in here. This is just example data, but I can take one of these addresses here like this one or this really very specific one. And I'm just going to copy this. And then I can take this to the addresses table and enter this as Empire State Building. And in here, put the full address with all these details. And now when I go and want to enter that down here, I can just put in the short name, and after a pause, it will fill in the short name with the full address. So that's another way that you can save time and fill in addresses that you use a lot. Okay, I think that's everything about addresses. Hope this was helpful, And if you want to know more about addresses in RideSheet, you can look at our documentation. We've got a documentation page about data fields with extended information about addresses that basically shares the same information that I just gave in this video. With that, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.